You meticulously track every calorie, every macronutrient, every superfood trend, believing you are meticulously optimizing your health, your energy, your very existence. You engage in rigorous fasting protocols, follow esoteric dietary restrictions, and chase the latest nutritional science, all in the relentless pursuit of peak performance, physical purity, and a life free from the creeping anxieties of modern illness. Yet beneath the veneer of this scientific precision and disciplined effort, you feel a persistent mental fog, a nagging fatigue that no amount of clean eating seems to banish, or a deep spiritual emptiness that no perfectly balanced meal can truly fill. This isn't just a physical disconnect, it's a profound spiritual paradox playing out on the most intimate stage, your plate. Paramahansa Yogananda, a master of self-realization and a beacon of the ancient yogic path, looked upon the act of eating not as a mere biological necessity or a complex scientific equation, but as a sacred ritual, a powerful exchange of vital force. He saw food as more than carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. He understood it as concentrated prana, a conduit of cosmic energy, a living testament to the Divine Mother's bounty. Yogananda reveals, the true nourishment is not in what you consume, but in the consciousness with which you absorb life's divine prana. This truth shatters the simplistic modern narrative of diet, exposing its superficiality and its failure to address the soul's deepest hunger. Modern society, entangled in the pervasive illusion of Maya, has reduced food to a commodity, an indulgence, or a problem to be solved with external metrics. We are programmed by ceaseless marketing to crave, to consume, to fear, and to judge based on fleeting trends and superficial promises. We meticulously weigh our food, yet never weigh the consciousness behind its preparation, its consumption, or its source. We count calories, but never the karmic vibrations infused within each bite. We debate the merits of organic versus conventional, but rarely the spiritual purity of our own intentions when we eat. This is the insidious trap of the inimigo comum, the unconsciousness that detaches us from the profound spiritual implications of our most fundamental daily acts. This detachment is the root of the dor occulta abordada, the subtle yet pervasive anguish of low vitality, chronic fatigue, and a deep spiritual disconnect that no amount of physical health can genuinely remedy. You are repeating cycles of suffering, trapped in an invisible pattern of consumption that feels like a burden, not a blessing. The world whispers lies, telling you that control over your plate comes from external rules, from deprivation, from an endless pursuit of the perfect diet. But Yogananda's wisdom screams a different truth. True vitality, radiant health, and unwavering spiritual connection stem from an internal alchemy, a conscious communion with the very life force that sustains us. It's not about stricter diets, it's about deeper awareness. It's not about avoiding certain foods, it's about cultivating reverence for all life. The struggle you feel, the inexplicable low energy, the persistent brain fog, the spiritual lethargy, these are not failures of your diet. They are the urgent whispers of your soul, trying to break free from the inimigo comum of unconscious consumption and karmic entanglement. They are the gatilho emotional primario, sparking a profound curiosity within you, a silent plea for true empowerment. This path, this ancient yogic science, isn't for the faint of heart, nor for those seeking fleeting fixes. It demands a radical reevaluation of your relationship with life itself, starting with the very sustenance that fuels your journey. It demands that you transcend the superficial allure of taste and convenience, and instead, listen to the silent wisdom of your body, your mind, and your immortal soul. It asks you to recognize that every morsel you ingest carries a vibrational imprint, a karmic consequence, a potential for either spiritual acceleration or deceleration. To ignore this is to choose slumber over awakening, to choose the chains of illusion over the boundless freedom of conscious living. Think about the last meal you ate. Did you eat it with awareness, with gratitude, as an offering to the divine within? Or did you consume it mindlessly, distracted by screens, weighed down by stress, or driven by fleeting cravings? The answer to that question holds more power than any nutritional label. It reveals the invisible battleground of your daily existence, where the subtle forces of vitality and spiritual lethargy are constantly at play. Yogananda's teachings on food are not about asceticism for its own sake, but about maximizing your energetic potential, purifying your instrument of consciousness, and thereby accelerating your spiritual evolution. He understood that a clear body leads to a clear mind, and a clear mind is the prerequisite for experiencing the Sabiduria Yog Pura of cosmic consciousness. To truly understand Yogananda's profound insight, we must first confront the ingrained habits that bind us. We must acknowledge that our approach to food, inherited from generations steeped in unconsciousness, has created an invisible burden, a subtle spiritual ailment. This isn't merely about physical health. It's about the very quality of your consciousness, the vibratory state of your being, and your capacity to experience divine connection. It's about recognizing that what you put into your body directly impacts the clarity of your meditation, the strength of your intuition, and your ability to perceive the subtle flow of God's presence in your life. Before we delve into the sacred science of yogic nutrition, I urge you, take a moment, reflect on your own experience. How has your relationship with food truly served your highest spiritual aspirations? Has it brought you genuine peace, clarity, and boundless energy, or has it left you craving more, searching for something deeper? In the comments below, share one word that describes your current spiritual relationship with food, be it struggle, unconscious, seeking, or grateful. Let this be your testimony, your anchor point before we embark on this journey of awakening. For what if the very act of eating, for most, is a subtle act of karmic entanglement, rather than liberation, binding us further into the illusion of Maya, the invisible burden you carry, that persistent feeling of low vitality, the inexplicable mental fogginess, the subtle spiritual lethargy despite your best efforts at a healthy lifestyle. This is not simply a matter of macronutrients or genetic predisposition. This is the deep resonance of food karma, a legacy woven through generations of unconscious consumption, cultural conditioning, and personal choices born of ignorance, not wisdom. You are echoing patterns, not necessarily of your parents' specific diets, but of a collective human habit of divorcing the act of eating from its profound spiritual implications. This is the dor occulta abordada, the anguish of being trapped in a cycle you barely perceive. Think back. Recall the countless meals consumed in haste, swallowed while distracted by screens, fueled by emotional cravings, or simply because it was time to eat, devoid of true hunger or gratitude. Each of these acts, seemingly innocuous, deposits a subtle energetic residue. According to the referencia base of Philosophia Yoga, karma, every action, thought, and even the intention behind our consumption creates a ripple in the cosmic ocean of cause and effect. This isn't just about the chemicals in your food, it's about the vibration of the entire chain of production, the energy of the hands that prepared it, and most profoundly, the consciousness of the one who partakes. What you didn't know then, what your soul suspected, but your ego denied, is that you are not merely digesting food, you are absorbing vibrations. If food is grown with chemicals, harvested with greed, prepared with anger, or consumed with unconsciousness, it carries that energetic imprint. This isn't superstition, this is the subtle science of prana, the life force that animates all creation. Paramahansa Yogananda emphasized that food imbued with positive prana, grown naturally, prepared with love, eaten with gratitude, actively uplifts our consciousness, purifying the body and mind. Conversely, food lacking in prana, or charged with negative vibrations, dulls our perception, contributes to physical and mental lethargy, and creates karmic obstacles to our spiritual progress. Your body, your mind, and your soul are not separate entities. They are a seamless tapestry, intricately interconnected. When you introduce food charged with discord, with unconsciousness, or with the residual karma of suffering, you are introducing dissonance into this sacred instrument. The anxiety you feel, the low energy that shadows your days, the difficulty in quieting your mind for meditation, these are often direct manifestations of this subtle karmic inheritance of food. It's the inimigo comum of Maya, whispering that food is merely fuel, that consciousness has no role in digestion, and that convenience outweighs purity. This insidious belief system blinds us to the deeper truths of vitality. This isn't about guilt, it's about awakening. The pain of repeating patterns of fatigue or mental cloudiness is your soul's urgent call to break free from this inherited invisible burden. It's an invitation to shift from passive consumption to conscious communion. Yogananda did not advocate for extreme asceticism for the masses, but for a profound awareness. He taught that even a simple meal, partaken with reverence and offered to the divine, becomes a sacred act, a catalyst for spiritual growth. The raw, living energy within fruits, vegetables, and grains, when consumed with mindfulness, provides not only physical sustenance but also a direct infusion of divine prana, accelerating the purification of the entire system. Consider the journey of food from earth to your plate. Every step holds a vibratory signature. Was the soil honored? Were the plants tended with care? Was the animal, if consumed, treated with respect or subjected to suffering? Did the cook infuse the meal with love or with stress? And most crucially, when you sit down, are you present? Are you grateful? Or are you distracted, hurrying, or consumed by external thoughts? The cumulative effect of these choices, these conscious and unconscious acts, forms the basis of your food karma. This Sabadoriya Yog Pura reveals that your plate is a daily altar, and your eating habits are a form of constant offering, either elevating or diminishing your spiritual potential. The reason you feel this nagging dissatisfaction, this subtle depletion, is because your soul yearns for true nourishment, for the divine prana that revitalizes, not just the calories that sustain. It's the longing to transcend the mundane act of eating and transform it into a profound spiritual practice. The crisis of vitality you face is not a personal failing, but a symptom of a collective amnesia, a forgetting of the sacred science of life force absorption. It is the awakening of your gatilho, emotional primario, pushing you to seek a deeper truth. This understanding is just the beginning. It provides the archaeological map of the buried patterns, the inimigo comum's subtle conspiracy against your well-being. But uncovering the roots of this food karma is only the first step. The true battle lies ahead, not in external dietary rules, but in confronting the most immediate adversary, your own entrenched habits and the insidious mechanisms of your mind that resist conscious change. How do you break free from a lifetime of unconscious consumption when the world itself seems to conspire against your conscious choices, pushing you further into the illusion of Maya? The journey from unconscious consumption to conscious nourishment is not a peaceful stroll. It is an internal war against the very fabric of conditioned reality, a spiritual battle against the insidious inimigo comum of sensory attachment and mental inertia. Your ascension towards true vitality is not an easy climb. It's a narrowing funnel where each test becomes more intense and the Emotional cost of superficiality increases. The initial shock of realizing your food karma now transforms into an uneasy comprehension of the profound challenge that lies ahead. Stage 1. The external battle. Society's grip. You begin to question your eating habits, to seek more conscious choices, to align with Yogananda's teachings on prana-rich foods. Immediately, you face the external battle. Family and friends, steeped in the inimigo comum of conventional wisdom, may mock your strictness or dismiss your spiritual approach as faddish. The market, designed for convenience and craving, offers endless temptations, processed foods, and instant gratification. The sheer volume of conflicting nutritional advice becomes a deafening roar, designed to drown out your inner wisdom. You find yourself navigating social gatherings with a newfound awareness, suddenly seeing the unconsciousness around you with stark clarity. This friction, this external pressure, is the first test. It forces you to choose: conform to the easy path of Maya, or stand firm in your burgeoning spiritual conviction. But how do you maintain this conviction when every outward force seems to pull you back into the slumber of unconscious eating, making your pursuit of higher vitality feel like a solitary, impossible mission? Stage 2. The internal battle, the ego's resistance. Even if you navigate external pressures, the internal war is far more relentless. Your taste buds, conditioned by decades of sugar, salt, and fat, scream for their accustomed indulgences. Your mind, addicted to the fleeting comfort of emotional eating, conjures elaborate justifications for returning to old habits. Doubt begins to creep in. Is this really worth it? Am I being too extreme? What difference does one meal make? This is the ego's cunning defense mechanism. Its desperate attempt to maintain control, to keep you tethered to the familiar comforts of unconsciousness, even if those comforts bring low vitality and spiritual stagnation. You realize the deep-seated programs running within you, the invisible cravings and attachments that seem to have a life of their own. You confront the painful truth that your free will over food is often an illusion, a puppet dance orchestrated by deeply ingrained patterns and the subtle karma of past choices. The energy required to simply observe these cravings without acting on them feels immense. Yet, if you cannot conquer these internal saboteurs, how can you ever hope to truly liberate your spiritual vitality? Or will you forever be a slave to your own sensory desires, trapped in an endless cycle of self-sabotage? Stage 3. The paradox of surrender, beyond control. As the battle rages, you discover a profound truth, a paradox at the heart of Yogananda's teachings. True mastery over food, true vitality, does not come from rigid control or forceful willpower alone. It comes from surrender, not a surrender to temptation, but a surrender of the ego's desire for control itself. You realize that forcing yourself to eat healthy while your mind rebels, or while you harbor judgment towards yourself and others, still creates negative karma, still generates discord. The act of eating transforms from a battleground into an altar. You begin to offer your food, with gratitude and awareness, to the divine life force within you. You ask for purification, for the subtle prana to nourish your soul. This is where the Sabadoria, Gargipura, truly begins to shine. You start to listen to the subtle whispers of your body, rather than the loud demands of your mind. But this surrender is not easy. It feels like losing control, like stepping into an unknown void. The inimigo comum of the ego screams that you are weak, that you are giving up your agency. Yet, without this profound act of offering and conscious relinquishment of egoic control, how can you truly break the chains of food karma and tap into the boundless source of divine vitality that Paramahansa Yogananda promised, moving beyond mere physical health into a realm of spiritual empowerment? This is the precipice, The internal war against the inimigo comum of unconscious consumption and sensory attachment has reached its zenith. You stand at the edge of a profound transformation, ready for the ritual death of the old egoic relationship with food and the inevitable rebirth of your true spiritual vitality. This isn't about overcoming, it's about dissolving. This is the moment of alchimia final, where the lead of your suffering, purged in the fires of conscious awareness and disciplined surrender, transmutes into the gold of expanded consciousness. The journey accelerates, your awareness sharpening. You begin to observe the intricate dance of craving and resistance within you, not with judgment, but with the detached compassion of a witness. You see the subtle ways the inimigo comum of Maya has manipulated your desires, offering fleeting tastes for enduring spiritual depletion. This newfound clarity is both terrifying and liberating. You realize that your past struggles with diet and vitality were not failures of willpower, but symptoms of a deeper spiritual amnesia, a forgetting of food's sacred purpose. Then it happens, not as a forceful act of will, but as an expansion within you. You sit before your food, not as a hungry consumer, but as a sacred vessel. You feel the raw prana emanating from the fruits, vegetables, and grains. You sense the life force vibrating within each element, a direct connection to the infinite cosmic energy. The act of eating becomes a meditation. Your breath deepens, your mind quiets. You offer the food to the divine within, to the infinite intelligence that sustains all life. This is not a mental exercise. It is a visceral experience, a communion. The separation dissolves. The food is no longer an external object to be consumed. It is an extension of yourself and an extension of the divine. As you chew slowly, consciously, you feel the prana being absorbed, not just by your physical body, but by every cell of your energetic being. It is as if a current of pure, vital energy flows from the food, through your being, and back into the universe, purifying and revitalizing every aspect of your existence. The karma associated with past unconscious eating begins to unravel, not through penance, but through the sheer power of conscious purification and reverent absorption. This is the Sabiduria Yoga Pura in action. You understand on a cellular level that true sustenance comes not just from caloric content, but from the spiritual intention and the pranic essence of what you consume. You become acutely aware of how certain foods elevate your consciousness, making meditation deeper and intuition clearer, while others dull your senses and cloud your mind. You begin to instinctively gravitate towards foods that resonate with higher vibrations, not out of rigid rules, but out of an awakened inner knowing. This inner guidance, this intuitive discernment, becomes your ultimate nutritionist. The door occulta abordada of low vitality and spiritual disconnect melts away, replaced by an inner effulgence, a quiet radiance that stems from a purified instrument. You feel a lightness in your body, a clarity in your mind, and a profound peace in your soul. The cravings and attachments that once held you captive lose their power. They are not suppressed. They are simply observed and released, for your soul now craves a higher form of nourishment, the direct experience of divine connection through the medium of sacred prana. This is the gatilho emotional primario, fulfilled, not just empowerment, but liberation. This transformation is not about achieving perfect health by external standards. It is about aligning your physical, mental, and spiritual bodies with the cosmic flow of vitality, as taught by Paramahansa Yogananda. You become a living testament to the fact that food is indeed medicine, not merely for the body but for the soul. The illusion of Maya that once convinced you of separation between food and spirit now shatters, revealing the inherent divinity in every atom. Your relationship with food has been utterly redefined. It is now a profound act of devotion, a continuous purification, and a direct pathway to expanded consciousness. But here is the catch, the profound question that violates the very core of your newly found peace, this heightened state of vitality, this profound clarity, this intimate connection with divine prana. Is it a permanent sanctuary, or merely a fleeting glimpse, another exquisite illusion of Maya, waiting to ensnare you once again if your vigilance wavers? And what if this new awareness reveals a deeper layer of food karma, not just from your past, but from the very act of living in a world still largely steeped in unconsciousness, a world that continually demands your compromise? I ask you to deeply reflect. How has this understanding of prana and food shifted your perception of health and spiritual practice? Comment below with one word or phrase that captures this profound shift. Perhaps sacred, awareness, prana, or reverence. Your direct experience, your internal testimony is the most potent evidence of this awakening. The turbulent waters have calmed, yet the journey is far from over. You now stand as a witness, an illuminated soul who has traversed the internal battleground of food karma and emerged with a profound understanding of vitality beyond the physical. The mystical experience of connecting with divine prana has translated into tangible shifts in your daily existence, transforming the dor occulta abbordata of low energy and spiritual disconnect into a serene, unwavering inner strength. This is the new normal, born from the crucible of conscious choice and the Sabadoria Yoga Pura. The nagging fatigue that once shadowed your days has been replaced by a quiet, persistent energy that seems to bubble up from within, independent of external circumstances. This isn't the jittery energy of stimulants, but the grounded, clear vitality that comes from a purified system deeply attuned to the cosmic life force. Your mind, once clouded by mental fog and scattered thoughts, now operates with a newfound clarity, a precision that allows for deeper focus and more profound contemplation. The mental chatter diminishes, creating an inner sanctuary of peace where intuition can finally bloom. The incessant cravings and emotional attachments to food, once fierce adversaries orchestrated by the inimigo comum of Maya, have softened into distant echoes. You no longer feel like a slave to your palate or your emotional whims. Instead, a sense of quiet discernment guides your choices. You eat not from compulsion, but from conscious hunger, selecting foods that your body and soul intuitively recognize as beneficial. This newfound freedom from the tyranny of taste is a liberating experience, allowing you to approach your plate not with anxiety or deprivation, but with gratitude and a deep sense of self-mastery. Your spiritual practices deepen effortlessly. Meditation, once a struggle against a restless mind, now flows with greater ease and focus. The subtle inner experiences become more vivid, the connection to the divine more palpable. You realize that your commitment to conscious eating was not a separate discipline, but an integral part of your spiritual path, a powerful catalyst for accelerating your communion with the infinite. The referencia base of Philosophia Yoga, karma, now feels not like an abstract concept, but a lived reality, as you witness the positive karmic ripple effects of your purified diet. The world itself appears in a new light. The colors are more vibrant, the sounds more distinct, the subtle energies of nature more perceptible. You carry an inner radiance, a peaceful effulgence that others may unconsciously sense. You become a silent testament to the transformative power of Sabadoria Yoga Pura, demonstrating that true health is an inner state, a harmonious alignment of body, mind, and soul with the universal flow of prana. This serenity, this quiet strength, is not a shield against the world's chaos, but a beacon within it. Your relationship with food, which once triggered the dor occulta abbordata of guilt and dissatisfaction, has been completely recontextualized. You no longer see food as a source of problems or a means to an end, but as a sacred opportunity, a daily ritual of connection and purification. Each meal becomes a conscious offering, a moment of gratitude, and a powerful act of self-love and spiritual discipline. This isn't about rigid rules anymore. It's about an intuitive dance with life force, a profound respect for the divine sustenance that empowers your journey. You are now anchored in a quiet knowing, a deep confidence that transcends the transient theories of modern nutrition. You understand that true vitality is not measured by external metrics but by the internal vibratory state of your being. This realization, once a mere intellectual concept, has become your lived truth, a testament to the profound wisdom embedded in Yogananda's teachings. The gatilho emotional primario of curiosity has evolved into a state of peaceful conviction, an unshakable faith in the path you are now walking. The weight of unconscious patterns, the invisible karmic inheritance of food choices that we spoke of in the first topic, has significantly lessened. You are no longer merely repeating, you are consciously creating. You are not a victim of your past choices, but a sovereign co-creator of your present vitality and future spiritual destiny. This transformation impacts not just you, but subtly influences those around you, as your peaceful example becomes a silent invitation for others to awaken. The profound peace found here is not an escape from reality, but a deeper engagement with its divine essence, a living testament to the truth that every conscious choice elevates the soul. But what if I told you that this newfound vitality, this profound clarity, this intimate communion with divine prana, was not solely for your personal liberation? What if this deep purification of your instrument, this transcendence of food karma, was merely the preparation for a much larger, more urgent mission? The journey through Sabadoria, Yog Pura has elevated you beyond the common understanding of health, lifting the veil of Maya from your eyes. You have tasted the pure essence of existence, free from the dulling influence of unconscious consumption. Now imagine a world steeped in the very inimigo comum you have transcended, a world where entire populations are perpetually drained, mentally clouded, and spiritually dormant, all tethered to patterns of eating that perpetuate ignorance and suffering, a world where the subtle sciences of prana and karma are dismissed as myth, where the collective consciousness is dimmed by the constant influx of devitalized food. Your awakening is not an end in itself, it is a critical beacon in this sea of slumber. Yogananda's vision extended far beyond individual enlightenment. He envisioned a world where humanity remembered its divine heritage, where every act, including the act of eating, was a conscious offering to the divine. Your personal transformation is a single, powerful note in a cosmic symphony yearning for harmony. The enhanced vitality you now possess, the spiritual clarity that illuminates your path, these are not just personal blessings. They are resources for a higher purpose, tools for an evolving consciousness that must confront the pervasive dor occulta abordada of global spiritual amnesia. The question then becomes, having seen through the illusion of Maya regarding food, having experienced the profound impact of conscious prana absorption, can you now remain content in your individual sanctuary of clarity? Or does the very nature of your gatilho emotional primario, that initial spark of curiosity for empowerment, now compel you towards a greater responsibility? The true test of your liberation is not in maintaining your own peace, but in how you respond to the silent suffering of a world still trapped in the chains of food karma. This path of Sabadoria Yogi Pura is infinite. Each layer of awakening reveals a new dimension of responsibility, a new call to serve. You have glimpsed the immense power that lies in conscious living, the profound impact of even the simplest daily acts on your spiritual evolution. But what if this enhanced vitality, this purified instrument, is intended to be a conduit for something far greater than your individual journey, a force for the collective awakening of humanity? What if your very existence, transformed by Yogananda's sacred science of food, now carries a silent, yet powerful, mandate to transmute the karma of a world forgotten by its own prana, calling it back to the awareness of the eternal. You have heard the truth, confronted the inimigo comum, and tasted the unparalleled freedom of conscious vitality. You now understand that your relationship with food is a profound spiritual practice, a continuous dialogue with the divine, shaping not just your physical health, but the very fabric of your consciousness and your karma. This isn't passive information. It's an urgent call to action for the soul that yearns to truly live, to radiate the Sabadoria Yogepura that Paramahansa Yogananda embodied. If you recognize the profound truth that food is more than fuel, that it is a conduit for divine prana, a modulator of karma, and a powerful tool for spiritual awakening, then you are not just a seeker, you are an awakened warrior. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to consciously transform every meal into a sacred offering, to infuse every bite with gratitude, and to make every dietary choice an act of reverence for the life force within you. This is how you continue to dissolve the door occulta abordada of spiritual lethargy and unlock deeper wells of vitality. Do not allow the illusion of Maya to lull you back into unconscious consumption. Do not let the clamor of the world drown out the silent wisdom of your inner guide. This journey demands vigilance, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to your highest self. The gatillo emotional primario that brought you here demands continuous engagement. Therefore, I urge you, commit to one conscious shift in your eating habits this week. Perhaps it's eating one meal in complete silence and gratitude, fully present. Perhaps it's consciously infusing your food with positive intentions before you partake. Perhaps it's choosing foods that you intuitively feel are rich in prana. Take that first step. Anchor this profound truth in your daily experience. To further deepen your understanding and solidify your commitment, I invite you to explore more of our profound teachings on conscious living and spiritual mastery. Visit our channel, subscribe, and activate the notification bell so you never miss another transmission from A Voz do Despertar Inevitable. Share this message with those you believe are ready to hear it, those who are ready to break free from the inimigo comum and embrace the full spectrum of their divine vitality. Remember, your personal transformation is a ripple that can awaken the world. The time for passive consumption is over. The era of conscious living is here. Will you answer the call?